Hi guys, welcome to Grammar and Writing, Lesson 44. Start out with our vocabulary. Our first thing that we're looking at is our prefix focus, hypo, hypo. Again, this is Greek. Now you're probably thinking, this sounds really similar. Didn't we do that the last lesson? No, last lesson was hyper, hyper. Do you remember what hyper was? Over, right? Over, exaggerated, over the top, too much. So what do you think hypo is? Under, right? It's the opposite of hyper. Hyper is over, too much. Definition is of hypo is under, not enough. So when you see hypoglycemia, this is the opposite of hyperglycemia. Remember that? So hyperglycemia is too much glucose or sugar. Hypoglycemia is too little glucose in your blood. People with hypoglycemia raise their blood sugar by eating. So if you have hypoglycemia, you need to put more sugars in your bloodstream, and so you need to eat. That doesn't mean that you need to eat sweet things like M&Ms and stuff like that. No, no, no. It means that you just need to eat because your body produces sugars from foods that you eat. So you can still eat healthy and give yourself those sugars that you need. Hypocalcemia. Hypocalcemia. Well, what do you think that one is? Not enough calcium in the blood. So too little calcium, undercalciumated. That's not a word, I made that up. Anyway, not enough calcium in the blood is hypocalcemia. Calcium-rich dairy products may prevent hypocalcemia. What kind of foods would that be? Calcium-rich dairy products. That'd be things like butter, cheese, milk. Sometimes you can get stuff like that that has had even more calcium added into it to make it even more full of calcium. Yogurt is one of them, things like that. So if you have hypocalcemia or might be in danger of it, eat lots of dairy products that are full of calcium. Hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism. Excuse me. Remember your thyroid, that is something that regulates your weight and things. It's an organ in your body, very tiny. So this means deficient activity. Deficient means not enough. So deficient activity of the thyroid gland. That is hypothyroidism. So not enough activity there. The young woman lacked energy due to hypothyroidism. So often if you have an underactive thyroid, you have hypothyroidism, you don't have energy, so your body doesn't burn as much calories, so you tend to have a harder time maintaining your weight. People with hypothyroidism often become overweight, and it's not really something that they can control. It's because of their thyroid. If you have hyperthyroidism, often you are underweight because you have too much energy and you burn too many calories. All right, let's practice. Sorry, guys, I keep losing my voice as I'm talking. So you need to fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. Number 1, blank exists in patients with osteoporosis, a disorder caused by too little calcium. So which one of our words would be something that would cause osteoporosis, which is something caused by too little calcium? Number 2, blank is a deficiency in thyroid secretion, which causes fatigue and other symptoms. Which one has to do with the thyroid? And number 3, dizziness, disorientation, and tingling are symptoms of too little blood sugar, or also known as what? When you have under blood sugar. All right, and our last one, what is the Greek prefix meaning under? Okay, hypocalcemia is for number 1. Exists in patients with osteoporosis, a disorder caused by too little calcium. So under calcium, hypocalcemia. Number 2, hypothyroidism. It's a deficiency in thyroid secretion, which causes fatigue and other symptoms. Dizziness, disorientation, and tingling are symptoms of too little blood sugar or hypoglycemia. And our last one, the Greek prefix meaning under is hypo. Very good. All right, we are talking about apostrophes in today's lesson. So we use an apostrophe to show possession. If the owner or possessor is a single noun, you want to add an apostrophe and an S. So apostrophe S, like you see in the bold in the parentheses. That's what you use when you have something that's possessive that is a single or a singular noun. You add an apostrophe S. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Friend, that's a singular noun. When you want to say that something belongs to your friend owns something, you say friends, singular possessive. So it's one friend, but it's something that they own. So it's your friend's, for example, your friend's book or your friend's pencil. Apostrophe S. If the owner or possessor is a plural noun ending in S, add only an apostrophe. So if it's plural, talking about more than one thing, it already ends in an S, then you don't add another apostrophe S. You just add the apostrophe. Okay? So friends, plural, you have more than one. It's talking about your friends, like for example, your friends' names. I don't know. So here is a plural possessive. You need to put just an apostrophe after the friends. You don't say friendses. It's just the friends' names, the friends' phones, whatever it might be. And the third part of that is if the owner or possessor is a plural noun not ending in an S, add an apostrophe and an S. So if it's plural but it doesn't end in S, you add an apostrophe and an S. So that's like the rule of thumb. If your word already ends in an S, you just add the apostrophe. But if your word does not end in an S and you want to make it possessive, you have to add apostrophe S. There's really only a few exceptions to that rule. For example, usually with Jesus or Moses, you add only an apostrophe even though they're singular. So things like that. But there are a few exceptions, but very, very rare. So, for example, children, that's plural. It's talking about more than one child. Child is when you have just one. Children is more than one, niños. So when you want to make children plural, you need to add the apostrophe S because even though it's, I'm sorry, not plural, possessive, because even though it's plural, it doesn't end in an S. So you need the apostrophe and the S. So anytime it's singular, add apostrophe S. And then if it's plural but no S, apostrophe S. If it's plural but does have an S, just an apostrophe. So let's look at the next aspect of apostrophes, the next apostrophe rule, really. Use an apostrophe to show that letters or numbers have been omitted from a word or expression. Most of the time, this would be contractions. Occasionally, no, but most of the time, contractions. Okay, for example, has not becomes hasn't. Hasn't. So you take away the N in not and replace it with the apostrophe, and you squish it all together into one word. Hasn't. So you show that that O is gone by that apostrophe. Let us would be let's. Again, we show that the U in us is gone by putting the apostrophe in place of it. 1996, if I want to write this in a short way, I would say, and take away the 19 in front, I could just say 96. And I know that I'm talking about 1996. This is a very common way of speaking. You wouldn't really put this in formal writing, but if you're speaking or informal writing and you just wanted to shorten it, you could say 96. And that is always understood to be 1996, not 2096, not 1896, because it was in the last century. Okay, then if I wanted to say ed is, but I could shorten this and just say eds, ed apostrophe s. Taking away the I, replace the I with the apostrophe. Rule 3. We use an apostrophe and an s to form the plural of letters, numbers, but not years. Okay, not with years. You just add an s. No apostrophe and an s with years. And words used as words. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, your G's look like Q's. So here's the plural of the letter. I'm talking about more than one letter. I'm not saying that the G owns something, that it possesses something. I'm just talking about more than one of them. Your G's look like Q's. Your G's look like Q's. So more than one G looks like more than one Q. Your 5s look like S's. Again, you're talking about more than one 5, more than one S. There's the plural of a number, the 5, and the plural of the letter, S. Here's a symbol. Use pluses and minuses to indicate addition and subtraction. So here you're talking about a plural of that symbol, more than one, a plural of the other symbol. So you have to add the apostrophe S to show that you're talking about more than one. Too many ands and so's may create run-on sentences. Okay, here we have and so. Those are words, but they're not being used like you normally use and so. They're being used as words. You're talking about it as a word. So because you're talking about it as a word, it's not a part of your sentence. It's not part of the grammatical structure of your sentence. Then it's being used as a noun. It's being used as a thing. So you are making it plural by adding the apostrophe S. Now here's what I mean by the years. So, but 1900s, 1800s, no apostrophe, just an S. 90s, okay, you're talking about the 1990s. We use the apostrophe to show we got rid of the 19, but we don't use an apostrophe S. It's just 90s, I see. Okay? Okay, so don't forget that personal pronouns like yours, his, hers, its, ours, theirs, they never use apostrophes in the possessive, okay? Never, ever, ever. And also, never forget that we don't use apostrophes to make nouns plural. The only time that we use apostrophe to make something plural is right here with letters, numbers except for years, and words when they're being used as words, not when they're doing their function in the sentence. Okay, excuse me. Let's get some practicing. Think D is what you're supposed to start with, which says circle the words which need apostrophes. Rewrite the words correctly next to the sentence on page 51. Okay, this is a change from the directions that are on your paper. That's why I have it underlined. On your paper, it says to rewrite the words correctly on notebook paper. You don't need to do that. You can write it directly on your paper. That's fine. Okay? There were too many uhs in William's speech. Which words need apostrophes? Okay, do you have it down? Here's the first one, us and Williams. Both of those words need apostrophes. Why? Because is a word being used as a word and it's plural. Talking about more than one so he's talking and says, then this happened, and then that happened, I don't know where it was. So it's a word being used as a word. Then we have Williams because it's possessive of speech. Whose speech is it? It's William's speech. So you need to write it as us and Williams. UH apostrophe S, William apostrophe S. Number 2, I can't go over to Alice's house tonight. Circle the word or words in this sentence which need apostrophe. Can't. Alice's. Why? Well, can't is a contraction, so we need to show that we omitted the O in cannot. And Alice's, we're talking about whose house is it? It's Alice's house. So can't, which should be written C-A-N apostrophe T, and Alice's, it should be A-L-I-C-E apostrophe S. Last one that we're going to do together. My four friends' parents were in the stands. Circle the word or words that need apostrophes. Okay, ready? Friends. Very good. Friends. Anything else? Nope, it's just friends. Because here, it's whose parents? It's the friend's parents. But where does the apostrophe go? Does it go friend apostrophe S, or is it friends apostrophe? F-R-I-E-N-D-S apostrophe, because it's already plural. You're talking about four friends. It's more than one, so it already has the S on the end. So just an apostrophe. All right, and then think E, so you need to finish the rest of that for homework. Think E, let's do a couple examples. The following sentences contain errors in the use of apostrophes. Use proofreader's marks to show corrections. Okay, I'm going to attempt to write on the screen for this one. Number one, the Schwartz's house needed several $1,000s worth of repair. Okay, so here, what's the first thing that we need to change? Well, it needs to be Schwartz's, because whose house is it? It's the Schwartz's. So we need to insert an apostrophe here. It's after the S, because their name is not Schwartz. It's Schwartz's, apostrophe. Right? The Schwartz's house needed several $1,000s worth of repair. All right, I want you to look right here at where it says dollars. This is easy to miss. This is incorrect because it's not just $1. It's several $1,000s. So it's more than $1. So I need to get rid of this apostrophe here. It's dollars together, and then we need an apostrophe after the S. Put my apostrophe there. Okay, so you need an apostrophe after the S. Okay, one more to practice. Its roof hadn't been torn off during the storm, but it had been damaged. Okay, let's find the first one. Its roof. Let's look at it. Is it okay to have the apostrophe there? No, it's not, because remember, with pronouns, with personal pronouns like that, we don't have the apostrophe. We have to take it out. So it's just ITS. Its roof hadn't, is that correct? Yep, just like that. Hadn't been torn off during the storm. Oops, okay. This was a correction that my computer put in there. On your page, you don't have the apostrophe, so you need to insert the apostrophe. So pretend it's not there and you insert it. Okay, hadn't been torn off during the storm, comma, but it had been damaged. Anything else? No, the rest is good. Okay, so you're going to complete that. So complete language C, page 51, all. That means you need to finish up Think D, numbers 4 through 10, and Think E, numbers 3 through 10. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Love you guys very much. Bye.